It's May 15th, 2022. I went out for my exercise walk, and I came back. Now, when I was out, the sports bars in the area, were full. There was the Bourbon Street. They have like a New Orleans flair on colors in the neighborhood. I was peacefully just watching the neighborhood one day on the hood of my car, and somebody was kind enough to go to Bourbon Street where I don't go inside, and then came out and gave me a green beaded necklace. From him to myself, I thought that that was such a kind gesture from a human to a human. So, and I know that they can't tell the difference. And sometimes they can. I never know when. So tonight, as I walked past Bourbon Street, I mean, it was, I hear all of a sudden, like, I'm in zone out. Like, I'm just all about body mechanics and trying to stand as upright as possible and walk and pace my breathing. And I mean, it's such a plugged in effect of trying to like monitor the body movements right now in this area, with what I got going on. I did a little bit of white vinegar to a whole bunch of water, trying to neutralize whatever I noticed in nephronic, whatever. And so as I'm in like medical mode of self-reliance and self-detox, or trying to figure out how it's coinciding, all of a sudden out of Bourbon Street comes this roar of thunder of like claps and cheers and whistles, and I look, and apparently the Ranger game was on, and somebody must have scored or won or whatever. Again, I don't know the sports schedule. I don't know the market makers necessarily. That's like outfield or outer workings, I suppose. And we're out of touch at the moment for like 43 years. So then so I came home, I turned on David Muir, or actually the news at 6 to see what happened. And they had on, they call it CELTICS, Boston Celtics in this area. But if I go on a druidic glyph, it could be Celtic, Boston Celtics. But then that gets weird because the team is not Celtic. So I'm like, I got me on that one. So, I'm just in it, and they're playing on something called a TD Garden. But what happens is at like courtside, it gets confusing because it's a whole lot of where'd the beef go in like beef cake kind of a way for whatever and whatever. Normally I wouldn't ask that question, but here it's totally relevant to like case in point. And as I'm watching, one of the audience members, I caught my attention. I was going to fast forward. They put up a sign that said Celtics in 7. And I'm like, now there's that 7 again. So I'm going to just make mention of it. And it's really funny because, like, right here, it says 97, and then it says boss. And I'm like, no, that's a boss with one S. But usually boss is an SS. Just saying. And then this is the other symbol right here. Oh, there it is. Celtics in 7. I have no idea what networks they're linked into. I have no idea how to follow it. It just looks symbolically like something important. Now this is interesting. Again, don't follow sports, but between this number 7 importance in Celtics, which I already knew the Celtics were important in my ancestry, that was one of those things where it just, like, some things fit, like Cinderella's glass slipper, and some things are like, doesn't feel right. Something wrong with that. So I'm listening, and it's themed song, Let's Get a Party Going, and I'm like, and then they're all over their, they look like Vikings to me in their hockeyness, which is, again, I haven't been following along, not because whatever. And then they're holding up this big old silver thing, and it said something about the Stanley Cup's playoffs. I've heard it, no idea what it would look like. Now, is this one of those things like the kids get rewarded for being civilized and conducting themselves properly without like a formal civil war breaking out? And then they get like sports things like to reward them? Because I don't know, the people in Bayside, they were gathering tonight in holy reception of the Rangers playing against someone, and the hooting and the hollering, they seem to really enjoy it. Again, like, I've never been invited into that level of, like, team spirit, but, I mean, I can fathom. Alright, this is the closest thing to a Rangers. Apparently, they're playing something called a penguin. Again, symbolically, they both look extremely important. Like, how does anybody know who to root for?
In sports, Game 7. The Rangers and the Penguins square off tonight at Madison Square Garden to see who advances into the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Our Sam Ryan is at MSG. She's got a preview. Sam?
You got that right, Joe. It all comes down to this one game, and it is a biggie. Game 7 between the Rangers and the Penguins to see who advances in the Stanley Cup playoffs and who goes home.
Now, in Manhattan, it's a different kind of garden. It's called Mad Suns Square. Is that like the Mad Suns Square Off Arena? Just thought maybe that would make sense. I mean, it's written in the cryptic language of the area. And then it's man with a hat. And, like, again, it's mana. And then ata. Ata.
So with the series all even up at 3 games apiece, the Garden should be rocking tonight. As you can see, the fans are just starting to make their way in here to the world's most famous arena. The Rangers went into the series with a home ice advantage. They split the first 2 games here, then fell behind 3-1 in this series. They faced elimination and staved off elimination twice in this series. And they've kept their season alive. So here we go. They need just one more win to advance. Now get this. As far as the Rangers' history in Game 7s, they are 9-6 overall in Game 7s. They are 6-1.
I zoned out for a minute with her voice, but that usually happens. Like, But she's talking a lot about sevens in hockey also, not just basketball for courtside.
In those game sevens at home here at the Garden, but the Penguins are 6-0 in game sevens on the road. So something's got to give, and we will know a little bit later tonight. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock. I'll have much more when we see you in sports. For now, we are live at the Garden. Sam Ryan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Sam. You got us all excited.
For sure.
Still to come on Eyewitness News.
They're not showing a level of enthusiasm that the actual patrons of the pubs in the small business district of like mom and pop shops, like I'm pretty sure Bourbon Street's not like a chain. I mean, maybe they have one or two. I don't really know. I don't know the owners. I thought Greg worked there, but Lou knows him. But apparently I went in once to have to speak to him, and he doesn't. So, interesting they were really rallying, like, excited about these scores that the hockey players are playing. Again. But I don't feel the enthusiasm from the desk, the anchors on the desk, when they pronounce these things. So I don't know what that's about. Or do they have to be like neurally neutralized or sterile in order to like do? I mean, because some of them smile. I mean, like it is a theatrical nightmare to traverse their emotions and their messengers and what's going on in this. I can't tell how they are doing lanyards. I mean, it's a mess. Really. I mean, and to boot, I'm 4 decades in and not a thing's gone right. I mean, in like more serious things. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. I'm happy for the owner of Bourbon Street, though. He seems to be having a big crowd. Oh, and somewhere down the wraparound by the station, there's a train station. And then there's 2 sports, whatever. There's the Poorhouse, and there's OSP, I think, One Station Plaza. They both, I heard cheers coming out of that end, that section also, as I was walking. That's how I knew it was sports themed. I happened to get a glance out of the corner at my peripheral. Of it being Rangers hockey jersey. So it's May 15th, 2022.